All right, everyone. Last week we talked about the great goddess. Now we're talking about the great god. So last week we talked about the great mother. We're talking about the great father, the supreme being, this week, and how he manifests himself in various cultures, including the Greek culture. So here we have Zeus. Zeus is the grandson of Uranus, the son of Kronos, and you'll remember that Gaia took the great goddess figure to the Greeks, took as a lover her son Uranus, gave birth to Kronos, who was the father of Zeus and a Titan. Zeus defeats his father, the Titan, and the Olympians, led by Zeus, become the Greeks' primary gods. Across many different cultures, you see this sky creator god. Here you have a representation of Olorun or Olodumare, a West African sky supreme being, creator god worshipped in the Yoruba religion. This is a representation of the Mayan supreme god Itzamana. Here is a statue of Brahma. He's the creator part of the Holy Trinity of Hinduism. Here's Odin. Interestingly, it is Thor and not Odin who is more associated with the sky. And you see in other pantheons that there are more gods besides just the creator supreme god associated with the sky. But the sky tends to be almost a universal association with the father god. Many scholars speculate, point to the fact that father gods tend to have ascendancy once cultures and civilization embrace agriculture. And of course, if your civilization relies on farming, the sky becomes crucially important. Mother goddesses, great goddesses, tend to be associated with earth and water. Fathers tend to be associated with the sky and things that are in the sky, lightning, thunder, clouds, those sorts of things. So we're also talking this week about Hesiod. And the reason why we're talking about Hesiod, he's a rough contemporary of Homer, perhaps a bit younger, but Hesiod commits to writing an old version of the Greek creation story. So this story is many, many years older than Hesiod, but he's one of the first to write it down in Theogony. And I've linked Theogony to this week's readings. There are only about 100 lines or so that I absolutely want you to read, but the whole thing is definitely worth reading. And here you can see a simplified sort of family tree. Aphrodite is sort of interesting because in Hesiod's version, Aphrodite springs directly from Uranus. In rather graphic detail, Uranus's genitals are cut off and Aphrodite, the goddess of love, sexual desire, emerges from them. Whereas in other versions of the story, Aphrodite is a daughter of Zeus. Interesting. You can see how the female element, whether we're talking about Gaia or we're talking about where it is that Aphrodite appears, becomes more and more in the background. And the male gods, especially sky gods, supreme gods like Zeus, begin to become more and more important. And we'll be reading about several of those gods this week. All right, everyone, good work so far. This week is in the last week. You have a discussion forum, a writing journal, and a quiz. We're building toward week 4 in which you'll have a midterm. That sounds scary, but it really isn't. It's going to be a review of some of the things that we covered in previous weeks. Most of the questions that you'll answer will be questions that you've seen in past quizzes, along with a few short answer questions in which I ask you to reflect on some of the themes and ideas that we've covered in the course so far. So you're off to a great start. And as I said, if you have any questions, feel free always to get in touch with me. And good work, everyone. See you soon.